We need to talk about Star Trek again. What is really happening with the Trek movie reboot? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. We did a video about a month ago updating you on everything to do with the future of Star Trek in the big screen, right? And since that last video, a few more pieces have floated around. Not, I wouldn't say massive bombshell leaks, not, oh my god, franchise save news, but enough movement to start seeing a direction. So today we're going to cover everything. The new leaks, the new confirmations, the rumors, where are we going with this? And every time I do a Star Trek video, you guys go absolutely insane. So drop a like. Make sure you guys are reading the comments because I read every single comment and you guys are very passionate when it comes to this franchise. So we have a direction. I don't think Paramount's confused at all. I think they're cautious. Those are very, very different things. After Starfleet Academy, let's just say, stumbled out of the gate, we'll circle back to that in a little while, it's obvious the studio knows the next movie cannot afford to miss. So let's break it all down. What actually changed since the last video I made? What insiders are quietly saying now? What direction the reboot appears to be heading? And where in the timeline, plot, and characters are we actually going to go? Trek movies aren't dead, my friends. They're being rebuilt. So since the announcement that Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley are steering the new Priority film, stuff's changed. Deadline and Variety to still describe it as a completely new take on Star Trek. But here's the part people are glossing over. Multiple insiders are now describing it as tonally accessible but grounded. That's really important because when people hear Spider-Man Homecoming writers, they immediately assume, oh no, here comes Marvel-style stuff in space. That's not necessarily what's happening here. The Dungeons & Dragons movie they did, I think it had heart. I think it had lore that was respected. It wasn't a parody, right? If you've ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So if Paramount wants Trek to feel like Trek again, I mean, what does that even mean? I would say optimistic, intelligent, character-driven, all those good things, exploring. These two aren't the craziest choice. Now, here's where the interesting rumor floating around goes. The new film may not be set in the distant past at all. There is a lot of speculation this could actually be set post-Picard era. You heard me right. I know, that flips everything on its head. This means late 25th century, after Star Trek The Next Generation, which I'm just, that's my favorite series of all time, so I am fanboying and hoping that this video ends up being true. We're going to manifest it. We're going to put it out in the universe and make it real. This is after Voyager. This is after Picard Season 3. This would allow them to avoid Kirk comparisons. It would also allow them to avoid the Kelvin baggage, right? No Star Trek 4. And it would allow them to avoid reboot fatigue. But it's still moving the franchise forward. Now, nothing is confirmed. It's alleged, but let's talk about it. Okay. First, let's talk about the Toby Haynes origin film, because that's where things are interesting. It hasn't been officially canceled, but it's gone very quiet. And in Hollywood, silence usually is not a very good sign. Now, some insiders are suggesting the origin story script may be getting rewritten into something else, which I'm all for. That's cool. I'm good with it. Maybe they're going to fold it into a new reboot direction. I don't know. But here's the issue. If you do a 22nd century prequel, guess what? You're competing with First Contact lore. You're competing with Enterprise. You're competing with Federation founding canon. I'm just going to say it. That's a continuity minefield. And right now, Paramount doesn't really need complexity. They need crystal clear clarity. We need to feel good about what's coming, not trying to decipher it and figure out and decode everything, right? So here's my take. The Haynes project either gets massively reworked, gets shelved permanently, or it becomes a streaming project instead of a movie, because theatrical Trek right now, it has to feel really big, and it probably, a lot of people think it needs to feel moving forward. Now, we can't do a Trek video without talking about the Kelvin timeline. We can't, and here's my honest update on it. There's nothing. No casting talks anymore, no negotiations, no scheduling windows, no movement at all. Chris Pine has publicly said he knows nothing. I mean, Zachary Quinto has moved on, and Paramount's focus is clearly elsewhere in the Trek universe. Now, behind the scenes, the talk suggests the Kelvin cast was simply too expensive relative to box office returns. I mean, Star Trek Beyond made, I think, around $340 million worldwide. I don't consider that a disaster, but it's probably not a franchise revival type boatload of money they're looking for. And with today's budgets for movies, maybe that margin isn't enough for them to warrant and greenlight it. I don't know. I mean, unless nostalgia suddenly becomes profitable again, which it's not. Well, they try to make it. The Kelvin timeline, I hate to say this to you guys because I know a lot of you are going to come in the comments and say you want 4. You want the end. You want it tied up with a bow. You want the culmination. The leaks and rumors we heard about his dad coming back and showing us that part and all that good stuff. I don't think it's happening. I guess the door is cracked just a hair, but realistically, let's be honest with each other. Star Trek 4, the door is probably closed. So let's shift back over here. Now, where could the plot actually go for this movie, right? If they go post-Picard timeline, you could explore so much stuff. You could explore a fractured Federation that's rebuilding after multiple crises, new political tensions inside Starfleet, the next major galactic power, exploration missions beyond known quadrants. You could do it all. Trek works best when it's about these things. Hope, exploration, moral dilemmas, not war for the sake of war. And then here's something else to think about. There's been subtle talk of wanting a younger ensemble cast. Now, I'm not saying teen drama Starfleet Academy energy, but I'm saying early career officers. I mean, first deep space missions, like new crew dynamic, no legacy characters actually trying to carry the nostalgic weight here. Think about it like a 2009 Reboot energy, but without actually retreading Kirk for the 42nd time. That would allow Paramount to build a whole new trilogy. And yeah, they are absolutely thinking trilogy. Trust me, no movie studio with a classic franchise or IP that is rebooting or adding to what they're doing is never not thinking about the next movie. I promise you. There is always thought into, can we make this into 2? Can we make this into 3? If you're the Saw franchise, can we make this into 20? Can we make this into 30? You don't reboot Star Trek for one film. You just don't do it. Now, let's talk about the problem, the Starfleet Academy problem. Let's address it, because even if the movie is separate, the show affects perception here. The reaction to Starfleet Academy has been, let's just say, let's be nice. It's been mixed at best. And when your franchise feels, let's just say, tonally scattered across platforms, audiences lose confidence. Core Trek fans, longtime fans, lose confidence. I've read every one of your comments. I know the vibe of the people, the viewers that watch this channel and watch the Trek videos. There's a lack of confidence. And that may actually explain why Paramount is slowing the film rollout here. They need the movie to feel definitive, not just like another content drop, and I actually think that's pretty smart. So where do you go here? What's the realistic timeline for this reboot if we go this way? Well, let's say 2026 will be casting announcements. I'm going to put it out here, guys. Nostra chaos here, okay? We get casting announcements this year. And then late this year, before the end of the year, production actually begins. And then 2027, we get that first teaser maybe midway through the year. And then late 2027 or 2028, could be in the spring, we get the release. I think that lines up with everything that we're seeing with internal studio pacing. And here's something pretty interesting for you to take away. Paramount's new leadership under David Ellison has reportedly emphasized event films. What does that mean? What is an event film? It means this next Trek movie needs to feel like a cinematic event, not something setting up something else, not like a long TV episode. So that could make a difference. So here's my honest take, guys. Here's where I land on all of this. I don't think Paramount is panicking at all. I think they're starting to reset. I mean, the Goldstein Daily film, I think that's the focus right now. The origin, whatever, I don't think that's there right now. I think it's kind of a casualty of leadership transition. I hope it comes later, but I'm not counting on it. In the Kelvin timeline, I hate to say it, it's effectively over. And what's the smartest move here? Well, you set the next film forward in time. New crew, new ship, no nostalgia anchors, or if they are, they're very subtle. Let Trek be Trek again. We're going to explore. We're going to be optimist. We're going to have the big philosophical sci-fi that we're all used to. Not necessarily multiverse, chaotic type stuff. No constant prequels. We don't need 42 legacy cameos. I mean, Trek suffers from the same thing that Star Wars does. I mean, the Skywalker fatigue, the Kirk fatigue. Give us a clean future. Do I think Star Trek is dying? I've seen some of your comments. It's dead. It's dead. Just stop reporting on it, Jimmy. Stop doing content on it. No, it's not at all. No, there's no way. They're not going to let it die. It's reorganizing. 2 films are still technically in development. One clearly has priority, and in the next 12 months, we're going to get everything. We're going to know everything. They're going to tell us everything. So you guys let me know. Do you want a full-on reboot? Do you want a post-Picard sequel? Or do you still want to return to Kelvin for one last run? Let me know. And if you guys want an update on Starfleet Academy, I can do a video on it. We could do that next. Let me know.